Well, hi, hello, and a warm welcome to this video. It's the first video of 2021 and entitled My Top 10 Takeaways from 2020. Of course, we are reviewing and seeing what we can learn from the previous year, and what a year it was. But we're coming to that in just a moment. I'd love to just remind you that if you like my videos, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell below to get notified every single time I post a new video. So, how was 2020 for you? Don't forget to let me know in the comments below. And I'm going to share just some of the things that I learned from it, and I hope that's going to be useful for you as well. Now, it was really likely a different year, right, than the one that we had planned. I know certainly I had travel planned and that didn't work. I had live events planned, had to can those too. And that's really just the beginning. And I know for a lot of you, it's been a really tough year. It's been challenges, and we hear lots of people saying it's the most challenging year. But I've also heard lots of people saying it's been their best year yet. And we need to sort of break this down and work out, well, okay, what's going on with those two very, very different experiences? I wrote down actually on a little post-it note, the things that were highlights for me. And it was like, wow, actually, you could almost say it was one of my best years. And I don't mind sharing with you a few of the things that happened to me in 2020 is I hit my goal weight, something that has been a massive life changer for me. I got engaged. I got permanent residency in Australia after 4 years of kind of paperwork and waiting. And because of the COVID situation, it came through like that. My health has improved dramatically. I've refound my creative flow. And I had a really impactful visit to the UK with my dad just before the doors closed and we were no longer able to travel. Really interesting stuff. So I don't mind sharing that personal stuff with you, and I hope that you share some things in the comments below that feel close for you as well. So let's go ahead and look at my 10 things, my 10 takeaways from this year. Well, number one sounds obvious, but sometimes it can be harder to do, and that's about staying positive. Even if things present as tough, remembering that your thoughts create your reality. And I know that a lot of times people say, I don't want to hear that, I don't want to think about that. But actually, if you can hold on to that and remember that what's happening up here is creating what you're experiencing, so you could have a very different experience just by changing your thoughts. So it's all too easy to fall into that negative zone, right? And just wallow in everything that's wrong and focus on everything that's wrong. But of course, what happens with that is all we do is generate more things that are not working for us. So taking that time to just stop and say, okay, wait a minute, what can I do? How can I change my thoughts? How can I find the positive, even if the world seems to be falling in around you? So that's number one, staying positive no matter what. Number two, gosh, this has to be one of the theme of the year, be flexible. It's certainly something I've learned, and for someone who really likes their routine and likes to stick on plan, being flexible is not something that comes terribly naturally to me. Just because you had plans doesn't mean that they can't be changed. And do you know what? Sometimes it can be for the better too. So if you couldn't travel, you couldn't run those events that you planned, you couldn't run those workshops, you couldn't do that art show that you hoped to do, you couldn't, have that wonderful holiday abroad that you planned. The opportunity to do a total 360 is what presented itself, all right? And for a lot of people, it was a chance to rest, recuperate, kind of center themselves. Maybe it was an opportunity to take a course, learn new skills, discover things that you didn't know about yourself. Maybe even discover the world of virtual events. I know that a lot of you have gone from selling your art offline to selling it online and having to grapple with online marketing and online skills. It's definitely about getting outside of your comfort zone and trying new things. As we know, only too often, it's way too easy just to stay where it's comfortable, where we know. But this year, I think, has taught us all that it can be just okay to step outside of that comfort zone. What do they say? Growth happens outside the comfort zone. And I think for a lot of people, being able to actually step outside and actually having to be flexible has meant the growth, has meant the change, has given the opportunity. And I'm pretty sure that's why a lot of you are saying 2020 was actually my best year yet. So my question to you is, have you been able to stay flexible? And where have you been flexible in your art or creativity or in your art business? Let me know in the comments below. What has been the biggest moment, that biggest kind of 360, if you like, or biggest change for you? Number 3, I think, is also really, really, really important generally, but particularly for 2020, relationships. Relationships matter. You know, for a lot of people have been on lockdown and you've been perhaps alone for weeks and weeks and months. And being connected to loved ones, even if it's virtual, has been absolutely vital. And more now than ever, I think people are talking and spending more time doing FaceTime, doing Zoom calls. I mean, there's a big joke, isn't there, about how everyone's got to grip with Zoom. Perhaps we're all a bit fed up with Zoom. But actually taking that time to speak with other people, to speak with friends, to speak with relatives is really vital. It's really important, as we know, to connect with human beings. And we're so lucky to have the internet to be able to do that, right? Many, many years ago, we didn't have all that opportunity. We'd have been shut down alone. Whereas now, all we've really got to do is open the phone, open the laptop, and you can speak to somebody. Number 4 is about creativity, right? Creativity, as we know as artists, is vital, and no more so than in 2020. As an artist, as a creative, it is, of course, our lifeblood. But I think more than ever, people who didn't think they were creative were finding their creativity. Stuck at home with not so much to do, I think lots of people tried new, those online courses that were springing up left, right and centre, and trying new things and learning new skills and discovering that actually by being creative, it was a way to kind of outpour the frustration and a way to recenter yourself. So I think this is changing the energy and the vibration of the world, and the more that we can put art and creativity out there, the better for everybody. So creativity is vital. Number 5, and it's definitely been a central theme for me over the last 3 years, health is central to everything. All right, and of course keeping healthy and keeping the dreaded virus away has been kind of newsworthy. It's been what everyone's focused on. But with that aside, actually this is the moment to really think about how are we living? Actually, how are we focused? Are we really eating the best food? Are we doing the right thing for the planet? Are we actually doing the right thing for ourselves and our body? And maybe having that time to focus and be at home, I think has enabled a lot of people to go back to basics. Home cooked food, organic where possible, locally sourced, probably a lot of times the only way to do it anyway. And the more that you can focus on being healthy, not just in your body, but in your mind as well, then you realize that actually this is going to take you a really long way. And as I say, health has been a massive central theme for me coming back from chronic fatigue. It's really been the theme and my number 1 goal for the last few years. But I think this year more than anything, people are beginning to look at the way they're living. So health is central is my number 5 takeaway. Wow, we're halfway there. I can't believe it. All right, so after the health, let's look at change is possible. So when we talked about flexibility and we talked about, staying flexible, let's look at the result of that, and that's change. And I think a lot of people don't realize that actually it is possible. Change is possible for all of us. How many of you just stay stuck because it's easier? It's easier to stay stuck and doing what you know because that's where you're comfortable, right? Than it is to actually step out of that. And I think this year you've had to make changes. And I think that learning from that is really, really important. It is possible, and it could create, of course, an even better result. And I think for a lot of people, that's exactly what's happened. If you stepped up and you've embraced the change and you've looked at different ways of doing things, then likely you have a new belief system. And that belief system is change is possible. And actually, it's okay. And it can be positive. It can be a really good thing too. So that's number 6. All right, number 7, I think this is really, really important too, and that is trust in yourself. There's so much information out there. There's so much. Every morning you can open your phone and look at the news. You could be completely bogged down by all the negativity spread by the press. You could, get up in the morning and think, oh my God, this world is hideous, right? Or you could decide to do what a lot of us have done, is just not read it, not read the stuff, and actually just trust in yourself. Trust that you'll find the right way through. Trust that you have that inner strength. Trust that you know what's best for yourself and the people around you. And I think that's been really, really core, certainly for myself and a lot of others as well. We've had difficult decisions to make in our life, in our creativity, in our art business. And being able to trust that you can just make that right decision, or at least just make the decision and then make it right and move forward with it, is something I'm hoping that a lot of people will be also taking into 2021. And then number 8 is about becoming a leader. Now, for a lot of you might be saying, well, I'm an artist, Sophie, I don't want to become a leader. But I've got news for you. We're all leaders. And now more than ever, you want to step up as the leader of yourself, as the leader perhaps of your family, perhaps of your friends or even your colleagues. What does it mean to lead? What does it mean to sort of step up and show the way? It means really embodying all of what we've been talking about. It's about being that inspiration. It's about being that person who is going to stay positive when perhaps everyone else around you is negative. And by doing that and by emitting that positive energy, you're going to impact the people around you. And the people around you are going to start looking and thinking, well, if she can be positive or he can be positive, then I can too. But of course, it all starts with ourselves. We have to lead ourselves. That means taking control of the thoughts, taking control of the actions, staying flexible, staying in that space of positivity, creativity, knowing that change is possible, all of what we've been speaking about. So you want to ask yourself, how are you being a leader for yourself, for the people around you? What do you need to change? What do you need to do differently in order to perhaps step up a level and become a slightly better leader? Let me know in the comments below how you are leading yourself, the people around you. Or if you've got questions, ask them as well. All right, number 9, and that really is around others first. This has been a great time to consider other people and maybe to stop thinking about what's right for us or wrong for us or being focused on ourselves all the time, and actually just look outside of ourselves and think about other people. How's that person I haven't heard from in the last few months? Maybe they could do with a helping hand. Maybe they could do with me just reaching out, calling them, touching base, leaving a message. Others first is a really great thing that I think to embody, because it's so easy to be bogged in and stuck in where we are without considering actually that person that we're really fond of. You think, oh, they must be doing okay, but maybe they're not. And maybe by you just reaching out with a message, you can change their day, you can impact their world, you could just reconnect with them. So I think having that theme of others first, or what about other people? We've got ourselves in control by now, I hope. Put yourself just back a moment and think about other people first. So that's my takeaway for number 9. And last but not least, definitely not least, none of these are in any order, by the way. They're just how I wrote them down when I was thinking about this topic. So gratitude goes a long way. And this is a theme that I talk about a lot. It's not something that you're likely going to listen to and think, oh, I didn't know that. Likely you do. But let's really think about it. One of the most important things is to be really remembering that we need to be grateful for everything. You might have perceived last year as to be, your worst year, and perhaps your experience was not great. And I'm hoping that you might be inspired by some of the things I'm talking about and other people are talking about on the internet too. And remembering that however bad it got, likely you had a roof over your head, likely you had some food on the table. If you're watching this, you've got internet and power. Not everyone around the world has these basic things, and we need to remember that however tough it's been for us, that gratitude for what we do have and building on that every day. What are you grateful for? The sun that's coming out, the air that I can breathe, the roof that's over my head, the duvet that's keeping me warm. What am I grateful for? The more that you can do that, the more you can switch your energy into positive and gratitude, and you can stay in that wonderful space. So I'm hoping that for 2021, for all of us, we know that things are not going to miraculously switch back. This is going to be another year of challenge. This is going to be another year with learning opportunities. How are you going to move forward into 2021? What of these things, what learnings are you going to take forward? How are you going to step up? How are you going to be a leader? And what are you going to create in the world? Is it going to be an art product? Are you going to come up with some way that you can help other people creatively? What are you going to do with 2021? All right. That's it for this video. Listen, if you want to hang out with like-minded artists just like yourself, artists who want to make a positive impact, artists who want to build a profitable art business from what they're doing, then likely you might want to hang out online. And I have a free Facebook group that's pretty new. We just set it up at the end of last year, and it's called Business for Artists. And grab the link below this video and request to join. There's a couple of simple questions asking you if you're an artist looking to make a business, because we want to make sure that everybody in that group has got the one kind of end in mind, and we're supportive. It's a support community group. It's not a group to go and post your stuff in. It's a group to connect with other people. So if you're feeling a little bit disconnected from like-minded people, my suggestion is join myself and my business partner Vicky over there, and we look forward to meeting you too. So look out for the next video. It's all going to be on 2021 inspired topics, and of course how to build that solid profitable art business. Thank you so much, and I will see you again very soon.